Welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And thank you very much for your responses to our community post yesterday. 897 people to 0. We actually had no downvotes, 89.7 upvotes. Opted for us to read our favorite parts of the Tulsi Gabbard v. Hillary Clinton lawsuit, which to a certain extent is kind of old news now, but a lot of people actually haven't had the opportunity to read the physical lawsuit itself, which in many ways is pure gold. It's like Mean Girls on steroids. And I don't know, we're just going to dive in. Unfortunately, by now, many of you have also figured out that the infamous clip that was floating around Twitter saying that Tulsi Gabbard was of a sound mind and had never considered self-deletion, nor is prompted to consider self-deletion, nor in the future was going to consider self-deletion. That was indeed a hoax. But the rest of what we're going to do right now is not. And there's been a small update since yesterday when we made our community post. Cody, take it away.
Oh, yeah. So just to recap, Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren are good friends. Hillary Clinton and Tulsi Gabbard have beef that goes back about 4 years now. It stems from one thing. When Hillary Clinton was stealing the nomination away from Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard didn't appreciate this, and as the vice chair of the DNC, actually resigned her post to endorse Bernie Sanders against Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has not forgotten this. So Tulsi Gabbard filed a lawsuit, I believe yesterday, so that would be January 22nd, accusing Hillary Clinton of defamation. So the latest update on this is Tulsi Gabbard released a statement then earlier this morning. So I'm going to read through her statement, talk a little bit about what it's about, and then we'll go on and read some of the funny excerpts from the thing. So here's the statement from the Tulsi campaign. It says, Tulsi Gabbard's statement on defamation lawsuit against Hillary Clinton. I love our country. That's why I made the decision to enlist in the Army National Guard after the attack on our country on 9/11. I've served as a soldier now for 17 years. I put my life on the line for our country, volunteering to deploy twice to the Middle East, and I've served in Congress for over 7 years on the Foreign Affairs, Armed Service, and Homeland Security committees. I have dedicated my entire adult life to protecting the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. Despite my lifetime of service to our country, Hillary Clinton has essentially tried to portray me as a traitor to our country. If Hillary Clinton and her allies can successfully destroy my reputation, even though I'm a war veteran and a sitting member of Congress, then they can do it to anybody. In fact, that's exactly the message that Hillary and her powerful elite friends want to send to you. Hillary Clinton and her allies want you to know that if you dare cross them, they will destroy your reputation as well. I will not allow this blatant effort to intimidate me or other patriotic Americans into silence go unchallenged, so I filed a lawsuit against Hillary Clinton. I ask you to take a stand with me, working side by side to ensure we have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Together, we will usher in a new era of fresh leadership with peace, freedom, and opportunity for all. Woo! That was long, but I wanted to read the whole thing in its entirety because it is, spoiler alert, it is a bit of a publicity, I don't want to call it stunt, but it's a publicity thing that Tulsi Gabbard's doing.
It's definitely...
there's no way that, of course, because the last thing I want to bring up, and then we'll talk more about it, because I just want to get into this just really quickly to cover our bases on this so we can catch everyone up. What this lawsuit's actually in relation to is comments Hillary Clinton made on a podcast back in October. So Nick Merrill, who is a Clinton aide, was asked to clarify comments Clinton made in a Thursday episode of the Campaign HQ podcast, hosted by David Plouffe, who is a former Obama campaign manager, where Clinton said that a Russian asset was running the Democratic primary for president and would run third party in the general election to help re-elect President Trump. So when the Clinton aide was asked to clarify these comments, he responded with, "If the nesting doll fits," was the response to a CNN reporter. This is not some outlandish claim. This is reality. If the Russian propaganda machine, both their state media and their bot and troll operations, is backing a candidate aligned with their interests, that is just a reality. It is not speculation. So a pretty wild thing to say about Tulsi Gabbard. And then as she mentioned in her statement this morning, that if they can say that a 17-year-old U.S. military veteran, 8-year veteran to Senate is a Russian asset, they pretty much can call any, like, who isn't a Russian asset? Who isn't liable being a Russian asset at that point? So it is a good point she made.
If a decade of congressional service and a decade of military service does not put you above such base comments, really, I can't think of a more honorable individual. Like George Washington could have been called a Russian asset at that point. I mean, the Continental Army was only around like 4 years.
Well, who would he have actually been an asset of in the 1700s, right?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, if you look at it, George Washington...
He'd been an English asset. He's an asset of the king.
Yeah, he's an asset of the king. He is a secret Tory. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were called Tories back then, right?
The I don't know.
Yeah, the redcoats were still called Tories. Yeah, and to this day, that party's still called the Tory Party.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought they were just the king's men. Like there's the kingdom, right?
No, there were definitely. Well, there's Kingsmen. There were
but there's
sympathizers to the crown.
Political parties in the Kingdom of England, of the United Kingdom. They had a political party. Why?
The modern political party is named after the Tories, who used to be of the king.
Okay, I misunderstood.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
From what I understand, back during the Revolutionary War, Tory was a slander that was generally used against people sympathetic to the crown. But anyway, I could be totally wrong on that. The chat will decide. But anyway, this is pure gold, dog.
Yeah. So anyway, I have some fun stuff pulled up. There is some funny stuff in here. I mean, like I said, reading through this lawsuit, what I showed you guys, the comments Hillary Clinton made and the response that her aide gave, that's kind of the gist of the lawsuit here. I mean, because a lot of this it's sad, and I hate to say it, but it happens a lot of the time. These people know what they're doing. There's a reason why Hillary Clinton didn't just say, Tulsi Gabbard definitely a Russian spy. There's a reason why she said, someone who's a female could run third party for the Russians. And then an aide of Hillary says, well, if the nesting doll fits. Like, they never actually said anything about Tulsi Gabbard in particular. So that's spoiler alert. There's no hammer in here as far as we got the facts. It's all... If you have eyes, you can see that's what they're doing, but that doesn't mean that. What is the statute of the legal thing? Isn't she literally blind, right? Like, yeah, if you have eyes, you can see what they're doing, but fortunately, the law doesn't have eyes, and they have to take the facts, and the facts are probably not good for Mrs. Gabbard. However, she got some shots in during her filing. So this my favorite first one is here. It says,
well, I mean, that's the whole purpose of this.
Oh yeah, it's for the
record. Whole purpose of this is so that if I'm going to get beat, and she's gotten beat at this game. Okay, somebody with bigger access to more media smeared her in a way that she could not smear back. However, she's not going down without a fight. She's not going down without a fight, and filing this lawsuit is part of that fight, and that's why I respect her.
Well,
this is the warrior in her.
This is honestly what I'm seeing a lot of what she's doing here, and I don't want to get too far into the argument of it because it'll take up way too much time. We don't have time for that. But it's similar to what we're seeing a lot of the stuff going on in the impeachment hearing. This is for the record. This is so they have on record who voted what on these 37 different things. Even if you lose all 37 votes, you want the record out. And that's what she's doing here. For the record, even if Hillary's going to smear Tulsi and run her off the campaign, for the record, Tulsi fought back and filed a lawsuit. And this is now, we have this recorded. So this is my favorite little thing. Honestly, the whole thing, my favorite one summed up in the first paragraph where it says, there we go. Tulsi Gabbard is running for president of the United States, a position Clinton has long coveted but has not been able to attain. I love that line. In October 2019, whether out of personal animus, political enmity, or fear of real change within a political party, Clinton and her allies have long dominated. Clinton lied about her perceived rival Tulsi Gabbard. She did so publicly, unambiguously, and with obvious malice and malicious intent. I would definitely say that was done ambiguously, but Tulsi has been harmed by Clinton's lies, and American democracy has suffered as well. With this action, Tulsi seeks to hold Clinton and the political elites who enable her accountable for distorting the truth in the middle of a critical presidential election. Then they go through a lot of pretty boring. Tulsi Gabbard's lived her whole life with one guiding. Then they just put. I love this. The Tulsi Gabbard biography. Where does that come up? Where I think it was.
It gets real juicy in the 40s. Right now, you're in the.
I just want to highlight. It's really funny the way this is written. Where it's like Tulsi Gabbard proudly joined the military after 9/11 and served. And even though she could have won re-election, she went back to deploy again. And it gets to the Hillary Clinton part, and it's like Hillary Clinton's been a cutthroat politician her whole life and has never forgotten to perceive. It's like, oh wow, you can tell who wrote this. But yeah, like I said, some of the funnier stuff is when you get down towards the later stuff in here. So
40. Can you go to 40? It starts at 40.
Okay, rather than facts or reliable evidence, Clinton's basis for the defamatory statements were one or both of A, her own imagination, or B, extremely dubious conspiracy theories that any reasonable person, and especially Clinton, a former United States Senator and Secretary of State, would know to be fanciful, wholly unverified, and inherently and objectively unreliable. In view of Clinton's personal and professional history, there is no other reasonable inference
that's the good part.
But that
of
Clinton,
40.
at minimum, made a deliberate decision not to acquire knowledge of the facts that might confirm the probable falsity of the defamatory statements and purposely avoided the truth. Woof. What I love about that, though, is that they are trying to use the most qualified candidate of all time's qualifications against her. They're saying, look, I am obviously not a Russian asset, and you know who should be smart enough to know that? The former Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Like, they're basically saying, which is a really good defense, she knows better. She knows better than to say these things that people.
It sounds
not
like
take it
Ronald
seriously.
Reagan.
She knows better to make these lies without done the research. She should be. And they mentioned earlier in the lawsuit, they said people have a reason to believe because of Hillary Clinton's role as Secretary of State, she would be privy to information on who were spies and who isn't. Interesting point. Not really that funny. I just thought that was a really interesting point there. This idea that, hey, Hillary Clinton's supposed to be this super qualified, foreign policy expert. Why is she accusing me of being a Russian spy when I'm obviously not? I thought that was an interesting point. It's a good point by Tulsi, isn't it?
Oh, dude, absolutely. And actually kind of, she's channeling her inner Reagan right there. When Reagan got ticked off at the UC school for encouraging the first Berkeley riots that resulted in all kinds of property damage and stuff like that, he basically came out and ripped into the California Democratic Party and said, you should have known better. You know what I'm saying? It's actually one of his more, I think it's one of his top 10 lines whenever you look at those YouTube videos of Reagan's top 10 or whatever. Anyway, can we skip to 44, 46, 47, 51, 53, and 59? Those were my favorite. There was just like pure gold in each one of those.
This is when she walks back through what happened. This is what I was talking about earlier. Listen to this.
Yeah.
In February 2016, Tulsi was the vice chair of the DNC. She was. She publicly backed Senator Sanders over Clinton for president. She did. And she was the highest profile congressperson to do so at the time. Clinton was extremely angry, to put it mildly.
I love all these digs, to put it mildly.
Because, unfortunately for Tulsi, this entire thing is literally just to have this document go public. It's the
just
only
for
reason
the
why it's
digs.
done. Yeah. That Tulsi endorsed Senator Sanders over. Clinton's agents emailed Tulsi to tell her that the Clinton team no longer trusts Tulsi's judgment. Ouch. And Tulsi was told the Clinton team would never forget the slight. Wow, we will never forget this. We no longer trust your judgment. Among other things, Clinton's agents relayed that the Clinton team will refuse to assist Tulsi in any of her campaigns. These agents then forwarded the correspondence to Huma Abedin, one of Hillary Clinton's closest aide, John Podesta, chairman of Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, to gloat about the beatdown they felt they delivered at Tulsi, writing, quote, hammer dropped.
And don't forget, Huma Abedin is our good friend Weiner's wife.
Yeah, it's just
Anthony Weiner's wife.
Yeah, you'll notice that
Carlos Danger.
It's kind of the who's who of corrupt New York politicians, right? You're just missing Michael Bloomberg, and you know what? Hey, give him as soon as he's out of office. I guess can we call New York? Can we call Trump a New York politician? Can we add him as soon as he's done being president? He'll just be another corrupt New York politician. But anyway. This ill will is further demonstrated by vitriolic comments by Clinton through her spokesman Merrill about Tulsi. In one public comment on October 10th, 2019, Clinton's spokesman stated that he was seriously considering watching the presidential debate if Tulsi promised that she would not be there.
Dude.
Which is true. Again, though,
This is straight up Regina George, man.
It's another way of saying probably beneath a lawsuit. You know what I mean? It's probably beneath filing a lawsuit over. On Twitter, they said if I wasn't going to be there, they watch. I like Tulsi, but it starts getting a little bit... the Tulsi punching back at Hillary is cool. I like it because not everyone will. She's one of the few people with the backbone to do it. At a certain point, though, it's just starting to get like, we get it. We get that you it's kind of one of those things like when two people are in a fight, they don't understand to everybody else that we don't care that much about your fight. Like not everyone's like hanging on like, ooh, what, and she said what and you said what back. Like most people are just kind of like, we get it. You guys hate each other. All you do is lie about each other. We're kind of tired of it. Here's more of it. I don't think Tulsi lies about Hillary as much as Hillary lies about Tulsi, but it's just the constant bickering in the media. And the funny thing is, it's so blatantly personal bickering. Like they even mention here, Hillary Clinton never forgot that Tulsi Gabbard refused to endorse her. And that's basically where all of this comes from. And
well, they even talk about in one of these complaining about their for her and against her lists.
Well, no, but listen to this. They sum it up better than I could. In short, Clinton has a unique personal connection to Tulsi that animates her hostility towards Tulsi and her presidential campaign. Yeah, it's true. They have personal beef, and it's not a political thing at all anymore. It really isn't. It's a personal thing. It's you spited me. You tried to stand up to me when no one was supposed to. It was basically what Hillary was so mad about. And they go through, and what I love the idea of, I believe she's suing for $50 million plus punitive damages, I believe.
Oh, and the best part, it says, okay, in subheading 59, it says the defamatory statements were a substantial factor in causing Tulsi to suffer economic loss in an amount to be proven at trial. At present, actual damages are estimated at $50 million and counting. Yeah,
and then it goes
and counting.
And then it goes down to mention punitive damages as well, which is. But here's the thing about all this stuff. I want to get back quickly to what came out this morning, right? So Tulsi Gabbard's statement she released. And I do agree that there is something to this. The fact that if Hillary Clinton can do this to Tulsi Gabbard, she can do it to any one of us. Because, by the way,
do it to George Washington.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he basically been in the army the same amount of time and been in Congress the same amount of time.
He also was alive 300 years ago. I don't know. Maybe you could. Maybe you couldn't have. I don't know what you could have. But the idea here is bigger to me that not only is Tulsi someone who's been in the military for a while. As I mentioned before, Tulsi was like the only Democrat who was actually willing. Bernie Sanders wouldn't stand up for Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Tulsi Gabbard did. Like, she's a unique individual in that sense. She seems to be a very strong individual. And even someone like her can be badgered so thoroughly by Hillary Clinton, she's now basically releasing, a lawsuit to just throw jabs at her. It's almost kind of like, I don't mean this in like a rude sense, but it's almost like, wow, a kind of strong, proud person reduced to meaningless lawsuits just to bicker publicly with someone. It shows that Hillary Clinton got in her head almost, I want to say. I feel like Tulsi should be better than this, but at the same time, what do you do when this massive media campaign by all these people just lies about you every day and there's like nothing you could do about it? This is all you can do. It's a really interesting thing to see. It's like I said, I don't like seeing Tulsi have to do this because I like seeing her in most instances, but at the same time, it's like, as opposed to what? Just nothing? Just taking it? Like, I don't know what else you can do, but at the same time, filing a frivolous lawsuit to me feels like, beneath what seems like a pretty strong-willed individual like Tulsi Gabbard. But I guess at this point, what is left? If she's just going to go on TV and lie about you, go on podcasts and lie about you, but do it in a way where she doesn't ever... Hillary Clinton never says the words, Tulsi Gabbard works for the Russians. She just heavily implies that someone does it and that someone's Tulsi. And I don't think that counts defamation. So it's tricky. It's crazy stuff, man. It's really weird to see all this breakdown, but it just shows how this beef dating back 4 years has just exploded. I mean, Hillary's getting sued for 50 million plus punitive damages by Tulsi Gabbard today over statements where she never actually even said anything in particular about Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, that is how bad things have gotten here, but I don't know, man. It is.
Well, see,
ultimately, I don't like seeing this the more I look at it.
I know you don't like see. I like it, and it's not just for the drama, okay? Because actually, I don't like just drama for the sake of drama, but I like now that finally we're getting to see these people for who they really are. I love it. I love it when people finally get caught for being exactly what they really are. I love these Project Veritas videos coming out. So you see the field organizers talking about wanting to put the political opposition into the gulags and so that finally people can just see how depraved they really, really are. So yeah, I don't think Tulsi can win this thing. If the Covington kids couldn't prove defamation, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they received the massive settlement before discovery, I believe.
Yeah, but they weren't found guilty of criminal defamation. It ended up being settled out of court.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's how all these things will end. Yeah.
But there was that horrible precedent that was set saying basically if enough media people write about something, that they become a political figure, even if they were a private citizen before. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, if the Covington kids couldn't pull off an official criminal indictment for defamation, okay, I doubt Tulsi Gabbard and two political figures are going to be able to do that. Okay, especially during the campaign season, knowing what those guys used to say in the 17 and the 1800s, all right? So, but I do like the fact that Tulsi is not going down without a fight. And that is wholly American, baby. I may disagree with her on a lot of Democrat policies. She's been a pretty hardcore Democrat for the past 10 years. But one thing that I completely agree with her on, and I say that as a true American, is this idea that, man, I might be going down and you might be beating me in this fight, but I ain't going down without the biggest fight that you ever seen. And I think this is great. And this is why I really, really admire Tulsi Gabbard. So anyway, let us know what you guys think. We'll actually leave a link in the description for the official legal document so you can enjoy it tonight, maybe after watching Netflix, reading your scriptures, contemplating the deeper meanings of the universe, reading some Marianne Williamson books. You can just toss in this lawsuit for some light and lovely reading. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. This is Problem Solved Politics.